ladies and gentlemen, Max here, and welcome back to yet another episode of the GC Informer. As always, we have some pretty interesting topics to get into, so let's go. First things first is that Pokemon Go's Halloween event is very likely to also be the release of the Gen 3 Pokemon. Basically, the Sylph Road, which is a guild that kind of focuses on a bunch of Pokemon rumors and data mining and stuff like that, did some data mining in the latest update, and they came up with a splash screen that was Halloween themed, and it had Pokemon like Dusclops, Duskull, Sableye, Banette, and a few more, which are from Gen 3. And alongside this, there are also some sound files in the update that include noises for Pokemon all the way up to 386, also known as Deoxys. So if there's sound effect files in there, as well as images on the splash screen, it's a pretty good guess that Gen 3 is going to be released around the Halloween update for Pokemon Go, which is great because they need to keep coming out with shit for this game if they want people to keep playing it, especially with Gen 3, man. Gen 2 came out a while ago. It's about time they introduced these Pokemon. These are Pokemon that we just come to associate with Pokemon nowadays because it's, you know, they're so old now. It seems that no company is safe nowadays, so apparently former employees of CD Projekt Red, the guys that make the Witcher series, have been posting negative reviews about the company on the site Glassdoor. People post reviews of companies on there, and former employees were talking about their old company. Basically, they were saying that it's a very strenuous work environment, there's really long work hours, and it's just really not a good place to be for them. CD Projekt Red actually came out and made a statement about this, saying that normally they don't make statements about this kind of stuff, especially not reviews on Glassdoor, but they really haven't talked about Cyberpunk in a while, so they wanted to give an update on that and just kind of talk about what's been going on. To sum up the statement, they basically talked about the fact that they like to reinvent the wheel and make an entirely innovative new experience with every game that they make. And that type of development doesn't really mesh with some type of people, which does make sense. I have to give the company props for this, but that does seem to me like they're kind of avoiding the accusations. They're just kind of saying like, yeah, we do have stressful work hours and a stressful work environment, and if you can't deal with it, leave. That's kind of what that's saying, which is, I don't know, I have to hope that these employees knew about this when they came on, because after The Witcher 3, they grew exponentially, CD Projekt Red did. So if you communicate this sort of stuff to your employees and say, hey, yeah, we make something really new every single time, so this is going to be a pretty stressful job, you're going to have to spend a lot of time with it, and the employees agree to that, then that makes sense. And I don't think that these former employees have much of a right to complain. Like, they still can complain, but hey, they were warned about it. But if that isn't the case, then that kind of sucks, and CD Projekt Red should really tell these new employees that sort of stuff. Like, that's important to know. Regardless, I hope that since the statement has come out and since people have been complaining, the work environment there does get a bit more lax if it's really that stressful. Now, to be fair, I know that there are some people that really work well in that kind of work environment. There are definitely people that enjoy that because they're really proud of the products they come out with. So maybe a majority of the company is fine with that. I don't know. Regardless, I hope that any issues, if they are there, get worked out soon, because we all really want Cyberpunk 2077, don't we? And it sucks to overwork your employees. Don't do that. That sucks. Just don't. In rather interesting news, Doom is coming to the Switch before Skyrim is, even though Skyrim was announced in the launch trailer of the damn thing. Fortunately, it's only a week ahead of time, Skyrim. Doom will be coming to the Switch on November 10th, while Skyrim will be coming out on November 17th, which we already knew. I just think it's kind of funny. They're both Bethesda games in the first place, but interestingly enough, you can play the new 2016 Doom portable on the go on the Switch. From what I've heard, it's a little bit dumbed down graphically, but I don't know, I'm more than okay with being able to play the modern 2016 Doom on the Switch on the go. If it just doesn't look as good as it does on my PC, I'm still willing to sacrifice that graphically in order to play on the go. Like, this isn't Doom 1 that can be played on your damn coffee maker or your smart fridge. This is the new, awesome, killer, amazing 2016 Doom. That's so cool. And the fact that it's coming to Switch also shows that Nintendo is more open to these types of games. This time around, a Nintendo console will finally be seen on the same level as the Microsoft and Sony consoles, which is great. It won't just be like the Wii U or even the Wii in some cases, where people are like, yeah, I'm gonna get it for the exclusives, but there's no third-party support. This time around, people can still get the Switch for their incredible exclusives, because it's Nintendo. Nintendo always has incredible exclusives, but it can also be seen as a viable third-party console, which is just awesome. That's really, really awesome to see Nintendo way back up in the game. And last but not least in today's news, we have a pretty serious topic on sexual harassment in the entertainment industry, this story specifically regarding Naughty Dog, the developers of Uncharted and The Last of Us. So basically, on the 14th of October, former Naughty Dog employee David Ballard sent out a few tweets regarding sexual harassment. In late 2015, I was sexually harassed at Naughty Dog by a lead. My work environment became extremely toxic afterward. In February 2016, I had a mental breakdown at work, and Sony PlayStation HR became involved. When I told them about the harassment, they ended the call and fired me the next day. They cited the company was moving in a different direction and my job was no longer needed. They tried to silence me by offering $20,000 if I signed a letter agreeing to the termination as well as to not discuss it with anyone. I declined to sign. I've been unemployed for 17 months since. When interviewers ask why I left Naughty Dog, I say I was burned out by the crunch, ashamed to get to the root of the problem of being sexually harassed. I'm speaking out now because of the strength I've seen in others coming forward about their experiences in the TV film industry. This is the hardest thing I have ever done. I will not let anyone kill my drive or love for the video game industry, my passions, or life. End. In response to this, Naughty Dog came out with a letter saying, "We have recently read on social media that an ex-employee of Naughty Dog, Dave Ballard, claims he was sexually harassed when he worked at Naughty Dog. We have not found any evidence of having received allegations from Mr. Ballard that he was harassed in any way at Naughty Dog or Sony Interactive Entertainment. We have taken and always will take reports of sexual harassment and other workplace grievances very seriously. We value every single person who works at Naughty Dog and Sony Interactive Entertainment. It is of utmost importance to us that we maintain a safe, productive workplace environment that allows us all to channel our shared passion for making games." Now, it's important to note that there's probably a little bit more going on behind the scenes here. There's definitely more to the story. There's not a whole lot of information we can draw from either side right now, but regardless, I hope that him making this statement has other companies kind of looking at what they're doing when it comes to sexual harassment and making sure that their employees feel comfortable talking about it if such a case were to ever happen, or, even better, do their best to prevent this stuff happening in the first place. This may be a developing story, this may not be. It depends on if Dave even decides to respond, which he may not, you know? If this is what really happened to him, he came out and he probably, hopefully, feels much better after talking about it. Regardless, sexual harassment is never a fun thing to talk about. It absolutely sucks hearing about it, and I know that this goes in relevance with everything else that's been happening in the TV and film industry, like David said in his tweet, and I feel like we're just still going to hear a lot more stories about this sort of stuff, so hopefully after a lot of these stories get talked about, there are some changes made in how this sort of stuff is handled in all forms of entertainment and media and anywhere in general, to be honest, any workplace, that people should not feel unsafe in their workplace. Just a big no. Anyways, folks, that's about it for today's episode of the GC Informer. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things GameCast. You know, we do reviews, opinion pieces, news, obviously, and all sorts of other original content here. If you're interested, you can check out my personal Twitter and my personal YouTube in the description down below. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you guys soon.